Alright, so what we're going to talk about in this video is sketching derivatives. We're going to take uh, the graph of a function and we're just going to examine just by looking at the graph what its derivative is. So let's say I have a function here, we call this f of x, and we want to ask ourselves what the graph of f prime of x looks like. And if we're used to just thinking about these things in terms of algebra, then this might seem like a ridiculous problem because we don't have any equation here for f of x. And you could guess maybe what kind of a function that is. But without a explicit formula for f of x, how could we know the explicit formula for f prime? Well, clearly you can't. But remember that the derivative is just a statement about the rates of change of f of x. And so we know the general shape of f of x and how it changes. We can have a sketch for f prime of x and how it changes. So to illustrate, when f of x is increasing, these tangent slopes here are positive. So when f of x is increasing, f prime should be positive. When f of x is decreasing, these tangent slopes here are negative. So when f of x is decreasing, f prime should be negative. And that should be our two maybe main takeaway facts. F of x increasing if and only if, remember the symbol, f prime of x bigger than 0, and then f of x decreasing if only if f prime of x less than 0. So I can look at a function like this and I can quickly determine when my function is increasing, when it's decreasing, and when it's transitioning between those two things. So it looks like I'm increasing up to here, and then that is my transition from increasing to decreasing. So my derivative is 0 there, right? It goes from, my slopes go from positive to 0 before it goes negative, and over here it goes negative, then 0 to positive. So around here somewhere, I'm going to have derivative 0, right? My function is decreasing in this range, so my derivative's out to be negative, and it's increasing here and here, right? My slopes are positive here, my slopes are positive here. So my sketch really ought to look something like that. All right, it goes from increasing to bottom out, and then it decreases, and then it's increasing. And so we get something like that. I'm going to do an example of this sort of thing in Desmos too, just so you could see it like maybe more explicitly. But let's kind of do one more example. Let's make a little bit of space here. And let's say my f of x is f of x. What should my f prime of x look like? Well, let's see. It looks like it's increasing, then it bottoms out here. Then it decreases, and it bottoms about here. Increases, tops up there, and then just starts decreasing from there, right? And then when I look at this thing, I say, well, okay, it's increasing here, so f prime should be positive, decreasing, so negative, increasing, so positive, and then decreasing afterwards. So my overall graph maybe should look positive, negative, 0, positive, 0, negative. All right, great. Then I'll see you on Desmos here in just a bit.